Fires and magic. Rise of Spider-Man. Eyes in the back of his head. Part 2. 18 days remain. And so is the remaining levels of my patience. Okay, let's see what else we got here. And thus we get into a rewind back to where Peter is facing off against the Beyonder and Secret Wars. So we're just going to grab every single bit of Peter Parker Spider-Man history, and we're just going to hit frappe, aren't we? Okay. You know, I've seen this done multiple times with a Sonic fanfic, but this is the first time I've ever seen it done with Peter Parker. What am I here? Of all the people this Beyonder had to call here, I just had to be one of them. I don't have time to fight. I have a test to study for. Seriously, Battle World? This guy had nothing better to do with his time. Dude, buy some action figures and make them fight! Can't tell if that is something Peter was saying when, said the Battle World. Or if this is actually just more of out character whining. Thanks to Peter's extensive internal monologuing, everyone there had a good idea of what exactly was transpiring. After being teleported to a planet called Battle World by a cosmic entity known as the Beyonder, Spider-Man had to fight with fellow heroes against supervillains, who were also brought to their world against their will. Don't forget, also fight for a grand prize. And wait. We're skipping the X-Men battle? You have spent, so far, every single waking moment of this story showing how awesome Peter is, and now we have a canon moment where Peter is doing his best to take out the X-Men. Expertly, mind you! To the point where Wolverine, Marvel's resident badass, couldn't touch him. No. None of the X-Men could touch him! And you're skipping that one? No. Show me the awesome battle between Peter and the X-Men! During one of the many battles, Peter ruined his normal costume beyond repair, thanks to a direct blast from Volcana. Wrong! It was he got his costume ruined when he was fighting Titana! The odd meta-human being, Earthling, that Peter called the Hulk, told Spider-Man about an alien machine operated simply by touching it and thinking of what kind of equipment you needed. When Peter thought of the new costume he wanted, the machine gave him a black spear. When he touched it, Peter found himself covered in a new black costume. The only other shade was white, found in his black lenses. Top of his hands, the spider emblem wrapped around his chest and back. And more discussion about what we are just seeing, like we're in a bad episode of Dragon Ball Z. And somehow to Luna, he looks like a dancer in the night. Is this the darkness fire to look upon from the outside? Was it this hideous on me? I don't know. If you ask the fanboys, apparently the black outfit is probably one of the greatest outfits since the freaking Silver Centurion armor. Fun flame from the night in contrast to the day. Or maybe they're getting sleepy, Luna. And why they feel me? Oh god, not again! Time rapidly progressed through the castle ball, stopping sometime after the so-called Secret Wars. Back on Earth, Peter learned the costume could respond to his thoughts, change shape, amplify strength, and create an unlimited amount of organic webbing. It made him better, stronger, faster, and increased his already impressive stamina to unbelievable levels. He felt untouchable. Peter's confidence rose, and reservations diminished. He even stood up to Jameson, playing hardball to get a decent pay raise. That's my offer, Sir Jameson. Take it or leave it, Peter barked, folding his arms in front of his boss. That's 3 times the price, you cheapskate! Jameson bellowed, slamming his hands onto the desk. Is anyone else getting you pictures of Spider-Man? Peter snapped. Decent ones, I mean? No, I don't think so, the older man snarled, but in a fit of defeat, wrote a paycheck on the check. Peter snatched the paper from his desk once it was signed before walking out smug grin on his vest. Pleasure doing business with you, JJ. Young brunette at the vehicle sitting at the desk glanced out of the corner of her eye. Peter, Make sure you pay back the money you owe. You're still $300 behind this month. He scowled, stopping past the woman. Keep to yourself, Betty. I don't care right now. Again, we're mixing movie continuity with comic continuity. And movie continuity and show continuity. Right. Trying to think if that is as stupid as it happens on Sonic or not. Because movies do this all the time. They take several bits of different continuity from the comics and start mixing it up. Since, comics have had years worth. And sometimes movies or shows or recent cartoons will take several tons of different origins and parts of different media franchises and mix them all together. And sometimes this actually works better in superhero shows than it does on a Sonic fanfic. I wonder why that is. This time taking place in Aunt May's home. Dinner was served, but her nephew seemed disinterested. Instead, slouching his way outside. She called to him once he reached the door. Peter, aren't you hungry? You came by to visit and you haven't eaten anything. Peter shook his head, closed the door, and huffed, refusing to look back. No, I'm fine. The image changed to another. Spider-Man hung a struggling crook over a hole in his webbing, but he shook his head, trying to best to tune out the thoughts. He'll come back and harm us. We should put him down like the dog that he is. The horribly seductive voice in his head snarled. Peter snarled back. Still a petty thief. That's too much. The voice in his head let out a feral growl. Jameson mistreats us. He wants the city to fear us. Perhaps we can give him a reason to be scared. Respect comes from fear. They will all understand. Listen to us. Spider-Man saw a strand webbing into the air, glancing into the side of a building before swinging away. You stop thinking like that. You sound like Goblin. His mind huffed. We are the only ones you can trust. Everyone else will betray you. They always do. Will you shut up? Peter hissed, his voice echoing into the alternate universe and sending shivers up everyone's spine. More pony talking. And Luna is comparing it to Nightmare Moon? Luna's mind crept into a dark place and hid from old memories. Snapshots of her time as Nightmare. It's like Peter, Luna had been completely oblivious to changes in her behavior. It wasn't long until after she was banished to the moon, Luna realized what became of her. But Nightmare's presence had dominated her at that point. Impossible to overcome. Celestia's hoof fell into her own. We freeing Luna from her self-induced trance? The moon glanced up as Massey demands, chasing herself for looking weak? Or her head, with every fiber of her Crantolian beat telling her otherwise? Peter, are you my shadow? The one who walked down the path I couldn't follow? No! He isn't! Allow me to answer that question again, Luna! No! Peter is not your shadow! Last I checked, you became Nightmare Moon because you were envious of your sister, bitter towards every pony because nobody enjoyed your nights, and were filled with rage, anger, and hatred towards the world because they shunned you. They basically treated you as the lesser sister. Peter was not that! Peter Parker became gone to Black Suit because he happened to find it. All the Black Suit did was unleash his inner rage and anger. It heightened his emotions. Unless Nightmare Moon was suddenly you heightened up, no! Hell, the Venom symbiote wasn't even really all that mind-controlling of him. All it did was just heighten his rage. It was forcing him to do things against he didn't want to do because that was the way the symbiote thought. It embraced Peter's anger, his rage, his hatred. You are based off of bitterness, enviness, and yeah, a little bit of hatred, but no! You bested me in combat and overcame your foes in a nightmare. No! He didn't! Last I checked, Nightmare Moon was not a symbiote! Nightmare Moon was all of your aggressions and all your negative traits personified! Venom ectoplasm that heightens Pierce's rage, his strength, his abilities. They really said that! Why are you thinking that? How did you come up with that? I must better train myself and follow your example. Maybe then I can best you in the future. Oh! That's why you're comparing yourself to him! So the fanfic can continue to say that ponies suck and Spider-Man's awesome! That's why. Thank you so much, fanfic. I was expecting you to have a logical and good reason for why Luna was comparing herself to Venom and all that. I was hoping for that, and now I see why. It's to make Luna look inferior and Spider-Man superior. Or, as my friend Soundwave would like to say,
analysis complete. Ponies inferior, Spider-Man superior.
Thank you, Soundwave. For that, you get an Optimus Prime kick in the face.
What? Boom!
Thank you. I would almost kind of prefer the real equation was that there were symbiotes around there, but no, it is just trying to say the symbiote thing is the nightmare. Okay. Well, allow me to add a few other things about symbiote versus nightmare. Luna and Rarity are not inherently bad or evil. Those were not their negative traits. All that happened was that they succumbed to the fear, anger, barrenness, and rage. Symbiotes take what is inside you and enhance it. It especially enhances some of your more negative feelings, like, say, rage, anger, and hatred. Peter had a lot of that inside of him. Want a good example of how this does? Let's look at Carnage. Cletus Cassidy, when he started off, was already a homicidal maniac that makes Dark Conquest shiver with envy because he wishes he could do as good as he can. I love that man. When Cletus got that brand new symbiote, it did not change him. It just melded with him. You want to know how I know? Because the 90s probably said it best. Cletus is so infused with that symbiote, and all of his negative traits are so inbrought that while Venom will say, "We are Venom," Cletus will laugh maniacally and go, "I am Carnage!" That's because inside Cletus is a monster. You know why Venom works really good as a character who can actually get his own movie without Spider-Man and his own comic? Well, I'd like to bring out another piece of media. In Marvel vs. Capcom, #1, if you beat one of your opponents with Venom, his mask will pull back and he'll say that there is no justice. This is because Venom and Eddie Brock are separate. The only thing that really unites them is their mutual hatred of that wall-crawling, web-swinging superhero. Venom is more like Eddie Brock. He has a bond with him. Why? Because they're both out for justice. Venom doesn't believe in hurting innocents. Because Eddie Brock is in there. And Eddie Brock doesn't believe in harming innocents. They're both more anti-heroes. They would rather take a villain's life, but if you're a good person, he's not going to go after you. Again, that is what makes a symbiote. Not in the same way Nightmare Moon works! Nightmare Moon represents the corruption of oneself, one's desires, and one's love. Nightmare Moon is a mare who desires every pony to love and embrace her knights. Because as far as she's concerned, every pony has shunned her. Nightmare Moon is the embodiment of what happens when you allow your jealousy, envy, and hatred to take control of you. A symbiote is not that. A symbiote is something that enhances you, it bonds with you, and creates a type of symbiosis. Are you starting to understand my problem? A flash of light lit up in the protection, fading to reveal Spider-Man lifting Rhino over his head before hurling it to the ground with enough force to shatter stone. We are stronger than he could ever hope to be. His thoughts raged, prompting Spider-Man to throw Rhino into his leg, swinging through the nearest stone wall, shattering it violently. Don't you get it, Rhino? Peter bellowed, his voice unrecognizable. I am invincible! Put an end to this. Make sure he never threatens again. See? Remember, the symbiote was perfectly okay with Spider-Man doing his job. It was just enhancing those parts of him that was going, I need to kill this son of a bitch. Peter nodded, agreeing with the voice and sharing his mind. Spider-Man lifted a large piece of wall that remained intact and held it over Rhino, but pleaded with mercy. Sorry, Rhino. Messing with me is the last mistake you'll ever make. What are you doing? Stop! Peter's terrible voice shouted out, turning out the old darker one that filled his mind. Spider-Man shook his head and dropped the stone away from Rhino's body. Peter held his hands across his face, brow furrowing under the mask. It's the suit! I had to get it off! Slinking off into the distance and reaching a bell tower, Peter clutched his suit, but it lashed deep into his skin, refusing to separate from the host. The second voice in his head screamed, lousing out, You must not reject us! Whenever he managed to freeze some of it from his body, it hissed, stabbing back to position. Despite the task, Peter continued to fight against the symbiote, doing his best to tune out his thoughts. Luna had surrendered to the darkness, but Peter resisted, going so far to expel his corruption through sheer physical will. The bells in the bell tower told the hour, ringing throughout the vicinity. That was the edge Peter needed. Screaming at the top of his lungs, the young man managed to rip the symbiote away from his body. Luna cried out as memory faded. Tears, oh, come on, give me a break! Nope, not going to read the next line, because this is completely stupid, and all it does is, once again, make me wonder, why is this a freaking MLP crossover, when so far you have spent the past 2 chapters telling me that the ponies are weak compared to Spider-Man. Congratulations, Vic! You just made me wonder, why am I reading this? Good fucking job! Because apparently, according to you, Peter can do not only everything a Spider can, but everything so much better than the ponies. Why is he even here? Why do we even have Twilight doing the work? Why do we even have any of the ponies doing anything rather than just sitting back, eating popcorn, and letting Spider-Man do the job? Because apparently, Spider-Man can do everything! God! I can't believe this! This is right now making What's a Wonder seem tame! This is making that One Piece crossover look like it's respecting and having the most awesome adventure ever! This is probably one of the more insulting things I've ever read since Mikan! Yeah, I said it, and I'm not taking it back! You mean to tell me that Spider-Man was able to do it because he had a ball and had stronger will, but Luna, frail, fragile little Luna, couldn't? Yeah. Do you realize that this whole entire thing basically just made you say that Pony suck, Spider-Man rules? Do you not realize what doing this whole symbiote thing just did? You have just taken one of my favorite parts of the entire damn series and just thrown it against the wall, and you're expecting me to buy that shit? No, I am not! I am not going to buy that crap from you, and I'm not going to stand for it! You do not pull that crap with me! And apparently Nightmare Moon and Venom are similar, and Luna's experience is similar. I've already pointed out the problems, but I love this line. I love this. Nightmare Moon and Venom were beings born for corruption, darkness, and space, plaguing the souls of their hosts. Last I checked, Venom came about because he bonded with Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock hated Spider-Man for ruining his life. Venom hated Spider-Man because Spider-Man basically dissed him and broke up with him. And oh yeah, had Reed Richards rip him off of a bite. Somehow, I don't see that being the same. Also, last I checked, Venom would gladly separate itself from Brock if it could attach to Spider-Man. I know some of you in the audience are gasping and going, no, it wouldn't. There's no way Venom would do that. Guess what? In the last issue of the Spider-Man graphic novel that I own, where it showed off the a fight between Venom and Spider-Man, that last one that it had, you want to know how Spidey managed to beat Venom? Spider-Man convinced the symbiote to reattach back to him. Yeah, funny thing, that symbiote would love to reattach itself to Peter. So, yeah, not really born from there. Venom was born just from the suit and a symbiote that was able to connect itself to its host, finding something that it wanted to fulfill. It found a need, it found a symbiosis to connect with. Nightmare Moon didn't! Nightmare Moon was just Luna being raised, seduced, and angry at the world. And somehow, Nightmare equals Venom because all she had to do was let the darkness feel the confines of her heart, and that would be Nightmare Moon manifesting and amplifying the unicorn's powers. Somehow, Nightmare Moon became cold, savage, and aggressive, and selfish to everybody around her, even to her older sister. And no doubt, Venom lifted Spider-Man from the ground behind the neck. Peter went through the same thing with the symbiote. No! How much more of this freaking shilling am I going to have to deal with? Yep. Another paragraph. Peter trusting her tale with a blah blah blah. The symbiote found a new host in Eddie Brock, a man who hated Peter for unwillingly getting him fired from the Bugle. You know, I'm going to miss that part of Venom's origin when I watch the Venom movie in theaters. Oh yeah, I'm watching that sucker. Even if they mispronounce symbiote. Seriously, it's not a made-up term. It's a scientific process. Look it up. And meanwhile, we got more scenes of Luna talking about how awesome and how great Peter is. And God, I'm getting bored. I mean, really bored. Bored. And Luna sees Spider-Man as a friend. There, I sorted your stuff by 3 paragraphs. Meanwhile, Venom continued to choke the life out of Peter. But in excellent desperation, Spider-Man threw his legs out, kicking the underside of Eddie's jaw. Venom staggered, losing a grip on his prey. With his hand placed over his throbbing throat, Peter took in as many breaths as possible to regain his oxygen, all the while scanning the environment for something of use. Suddenly, his revealed eye widened behind his torn mask, his sight narrowed on the cathedral near the position. He turned to face Venom with a determined glare he yelled out, charging the monster at full speed. He attacked with a flurry of punches, with Venom countering with a backhand across the side of Peter's head. So this universe also didn't have Reed with the sonic cannon. Oh wait, of course not, because that would destroy the whole narrative of Spider-Man's life being sucky. The blow sent Spider-Man spinning over the edge of the building into a plummet. However, as he neared the ground, Peter saw a strand of webbing and swung to the alternate direction of his fall. His momentum was too great, leaving the young man to lose control and burst through the wall of the cathedral. Shards of concrete and rock scattered about as Peter rolled to a halt. He sighed, grateful for the fact that the church was empty. Venom entered through the makeshift hole, and the moment Spider-Man made it back to the vertical base, Eddie lunged forward, driving his fist into Peter's stomach. Before he could recover, Venom retrieved a steel chair with a strand of webbing and used it to knock Spider-Man skyward, shattering the seat upon impact. Peter flew into a column, cracking it, but he freed the cobwebs from his head, using his webbing to retrieve an empty sack from the other side of Venom. Venom jumped into the air where Peter was, but Spider-Man flipped over Eddie, saw a strand of webbing into the ceiling, and slipped him into the bell tower. Fortunately, the moment he reached the room, Venom tackled him midair and threw Peter to the ground, just a few feet from the bell at the top of the room.
You should never have rejected us,
Venom hissed, reaching for a sharp steel pipe. He walked over to Spider-Man and planted his foot on his chest, raising his weapon high overhead. Venom cackled.
We are poison to you, Parker. That is why we chose the name Venom.
You know, this is giving me plenty of time to think about Spider-Man. Like, how much I would love to be playing the Spider-Man game for the Genesis right about now. And watching Spectacular Spider-Man.
You know what? You're right. You really are poison to me.
Peter groaned, closing his eyes to accept his fate. Venom lunged forward, ready to impale his prey, but Spider-Man rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the steel that embedded in the concrete. Before Venom could react, Peter wedged his hand to the ground, keeping Eddie from escaping. Spider-Man unleashed an array of webbing on his legs in free hand. Flip cartridge's moment is empty.
Better not screw this up!
With Venom pinned to the ground, Peter took the steel pipe in hand and approached Eddie. Spider-Man hopped over his body, striking the base of the cathedral's bell instead. Its ringing echoed across the airwaves, sending waves of tremors coursing throughout the room. The symbiote on Eddie's body screeched, squirming about as the bell's roar seeped into its being. Peter struck the bell several times, and with each gong, the symbiote unnecessarily freed itself more from the body of its host. Finally, once completely separated from Eddie, the alien goop crawled across the floor, hissing at the bell for causing it such misery. Looking for his persistent, Spider-Man landed on behind the symbiote and scooped it into his bag, once using his webbing to make a makeshift tie. His eyes flared open, only to roll in the back of his head once Peter's fist fastened to his jaw. The symbiote's hiss from inside the bag. Spider-Man struck the bell once more, managing to silence protest for a moment. Sonic vibrations, Peter murmured through the winded breaths, his memory fading to the crystal ball. Perfect antidote to your venom. Luna smiled, yada yada yada. Oh, gods. You know, maybe the reason why they didn't show Spider-Man didn't show his fight with the X-Men, maybe he just didn't want to remember it. But considering the fact that he's been accidentally bragging the whole entire time, I have expected him to say that, yeah, I also beat out the entire Avengers by this point. Meanwhile, Twilight's being a little chicken and thinking of how bad her boyfriend's life in the world of Marvel is. Yes, he is saying that. When they live next to a forest where there are multiple creatures that could kill you in an instant and turn you into stone! Not to mention dragons! Big freaking dragons! Oh, Sir Peter could take out one, but how about a whole army? No! Peter's not safer in Equestria! There's still monsters! There's still gods! Why did people get up with these things? Can't imagine him finding something worse. He swung away, flipping over a beam of air as he sped from behind. A herald of Galactus came to Earth. His name was Firelord, a being of immense power, and was someone Avengers teamed up to fight. Unfortunately, Peter bumped into him alone and was forced to leave Firelord away from innocent people. Spider-Man dreamt to catch his breath. He was finally over. He'd been running for several hours, doing his best to dodge Firelord's attacks. Even one of the beams of air as he touched him, Peter would have died. Thankfully, he survived. Spider-Man collapsed from exhaustion. Ragged breath escaping from his mouth. Suddenly, Firelord emerged from the rubble and fired a series of beams at Spider-Man. Where does he get his power from? This is unfair. He can't stop someone this powerful. Spider-Man scowled, his frustration and amazement evident. Fortunately, walls of flames appeared around the pair, cutting off any hopes of escape for Peter. Firelord crackled, holding out his hands as he ready to kill the young man. However, with no one left to run, Spider-Man roared and attacked for the first time. He smashed his fist into Firelord's face, knocking the cosmic being to the ground. I'm not going to die. You won't kill anyone! In desperation, Spider-Man jumped into his paw and delivered a flurry of punches. Each blow dealt with more force than the last. Again and again he attacked, unaware the ground could not withstand his strength. The rock cracked under pressure, but Peter refused to stop, knowing he would die otherwise. Spider-Man's screams echoed across the sky. He would not give up. Too many lives were at stake, his own included. Fortunately, something warm fell over his shoulder, prompting Peter to cease his assault. Spider-Man, that is enough. The individual is Captain America, leader of the Avengers and legendary hero. The Avengers finally arrived, but they were too late. Now was falling in sight. Taking a slow breath, Spider-Man cleared his head and took a look at Firelord, who was unconscious and embedded to the ground. In his rage, Peter didn't even know he had already won. Oh no, not you, Spider-Man roared, rubbing the aches out of his head with his hand. A woman stood over him, black leather practically hugging her skin. Boing! She knelt down, strangling the young man. Peter tried to ease away, but he had not regulated his withdrawal from the fall. Snow-white hair fell over her face, but he threw her head back and went to the side, revealing a cat-like smile and large green irises. Spider-Man shook his head. Black Cat, what are you doing? The woman feigned a gasp. When it's us, you're supposed to call me Felicia. You know that. She leaned over, planting a kiss on his cheek. I only wanted to play a game of cat and mouse. The woman held a strand of Spider-Man's webbing in her hand, and they became a bit rough. I had to get your attention somehow. Flipping into the air, she landed on the side of the wall and winked at the day's hero. Catch me if you can. Great. Another game to kick the spider. Peter grumbled, fired a strand of webbing to the wall, pulled himself up, and the minute he landed on the rooftop, found Felicia waiting for him. She dove off the building, prompting Peter to follow. And Twilight complaining. Spider-Man sprinted after Black Cat, across the rooftops of the city. Lisa Hardy was the daughter of the notorious cat burglar. Once her father was in prison, she took up the mantle and became the new Black Cat. With a pro of athleticism and her father's training, Lisa was certainly trouble, stealing the greatest jewels and eluding the authorities with ease. That was until she ran into Spider-Man. Their first meeting ended with Felicia's first true defeat, but it seemed to spark an infatuation toward the master vigilante with a woman. Like a majority of the rogues Peter fought, Black Cat proved to be a valuable ally whenever their interests aligned. Their moves and morals always class. Have you ever noticed that MJ hasn't showed up yet? Leaving their mutual attraction for each other, they never breached past the physical barrier. Current Mary, Felicia resumed her old ways, stole a priceless gem, and simply wanted to play with Spider-Man. Twice, yada yada yada. Peer, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's jealousy. I should have caught her up by now, Spider-Man groaned, landing on the side of the wall lower half of a skyscraper. Lisa landed several meters above his position and proceeded to scale the building's wall via a sprint, forcing Peter to mirror her actions. Fortunately, as he pursued the woman, his eyes couldn't help but wonder. I swear she's winking at me. From behind, Peter deadpanned, doing his best not to stare and failing miserably. Baby got back. And, Pinky's not that much of a child. She wouldn't know what sex is. Sorry to break your hearts, guys. Her viewpoint had already made the concentration a chore. Black Cat's skin-tight attire didn't help its mindset. It moved with her, always a part of her. Lisa's costume complemented her body too well. Those sights are painfully distracting, he yelled before increasing his speed and closing the gap between himself and Black Cat. I think I may have a fetish. Let's hope not. Mid-stride, Spider-Man fired a strand of webbing into the wall, pulled himself over to the woman, delivering a diving quick square into her back as he finally approached the wolf. The stolen gem slipped from her hand as he lost consciousness. Peter knelt down, taking the gem and assuring the woman was okay. He gulped at a thought before the memory within the crystal faded. Man, if Gwen saw me now, she'd kill me. Thanos had just turned the entire team of Avengers into statues. Vision, She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Captain America, and Thor were dispatched with relative ease and were placed around the palace to appease Mr. Death. Spider-Man stood before Thanos, height differences vastly apparent by several feet. Peter had fought ally and enemy alike, from Wolverine to Doctor Doom, for control of the Infinity Gems, jewels with godlike powers. Assembled properly within the Gauntlet, the wielder could control all Infinity. So now we're talking about the Marvel vs. Superheroes game? Love that game. Thanos stared at Earth's remaining heroes, stuffed, finding the sight rather pitiful. Raising his hand, the tyrant retrieved the gems from Spider-Man using telekinesis. Bright flash of light. The Gauntlet had been reformed. You are a fool. Did you honestly believe I would allow you to defeat me? Thanos fell over his hand, held high. Frank gave away, causing several pieces of stone to levitate in the air. Thanos grinned at the smaller being, clenching his hand to a fist. 1 billion souls have fallen into my might. You shall do the same. Lowering his body, his defensive stance, Spider-Man shook his head. 1 billion? I'm surprised you could count that high. You need help? Thanos knelt to the ground and threw his hand back, sending dozens of stone towards Spider-Man. Peter flitted aside, nearly avoiding the guarded barrage, all the while ignoring his mind's complaints. Don't believe it. The Avengers are gone. Thanos is in control of the Gauntlet. The problem is tomorrow. And I'm the only one left to stop him. What am I trying to prove? This is suicide! Thanos threw a wide punch and low kick. Spider-Man ducked underneath the first attack and hopped over the second, focusing his energy into his hand. The tyrant created a small bubble before throwing it into Peter's chest. Expanding on impact, the bubble engulfed Peter's entire body. Thanos reached through the barrier, grabbed the young man by his neck. Spider-Man clutched to the gauntlet, feeling his oxygen escape from his lungs. Thanos chuckled, releasing his grip, but his free hand drove forward, smashing into the underside of Peter's chin with an uppercut. Why is Thanos bothering? Spider-Man flew through the stories, unable to stop his momentum. However, with the power of the gauntlet, Thanos summoned a meteor from the sky and sent it crashing into Spider-Man. Are we dealing with a weakened gauntlet or something? Every point could only watch as their friend was crushed, left in the crater under the meteor's weight. Rock split into two, falling to both sides. The result was there. Thanos turned back his damage, holding his arms out victoriously. However, a burst of green light erupts in front of the crater, causing Thanos to run over and check the disturbance. Spider-Man, somehow still alive. What? Made it back to his feet. He held his hands high over his head, a strong jade aura challenging into his body. Thanos scared at his gauntlet. Grunty realized 2 of his gems were missing. What? Spider-Man was using the soul gem to heal his wounds. Not wanting to prolong the inevitable, the tyrant folded his arms and conjured a second meteor flying towards the smaller man. What? What? Okay. Now we get to the problem with trying to combine different bits of Spider-Man's story. There's only one way that this could be even remotely feasible. That's this. And that is if they used the rules from the video game Marvel Superheroes. That is the only way this works. And I think I can prove it. The next paragraph will prove this. The Grand crashed over his position, but Spider-Man's image is distorted, splitting into 3 separate bodies. They swarm Thanos, each striking a different portion of his body while moving at blinding speed. See? That is the power of the Power Stone back in the Marvel Infinity Gems. That is what happens when you use the Power Gem. And it's unbelievably stupid! If this was really Thanos, Spider-Man would be dead! He was dead! One of the best things about the Infinity Gauntlet was that it wasn't won because the heroes were able to overpower Thanos, but it was won because everybody outsmarted him. It was due to Thanos' own hubris and his own failings as a mortal that it allowed him to win. That is what made it so good. Having Spider-Man win like this is just so aggravating! Congratulations! You have officially taken out everything that made Spider-Man unique, and made him good, and made him a cool character, and just replaced him with Sentry! Yeah, I'm calling it. This is Sentry, not Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is human. Spider-Man is mortal. He couldn't take out Thanos like this! Please, and please, for the love of God, don't tell me that this is ripping off dialogue straight from the game. The power's gems a mess. No, I can't. Place the gems back in place. Spider-Man now wielding the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Give me a sec. Okay, this came back. And not only is this ripped straight from Marvel superheroes, not only is this ripped straight out of there, but this is also the same dialogue. And the same moves. Yeah, I just watched the video. It actually has Peter using the freaking Power Stone. This is right straight from the game. Help! I did it. I finally have the Infinity Gauntlet. Spider-Man cheered, turning to face the cocoon with snails of red snow in front of him. Closing his eyes, Peter focused his thoughts on the gems of the gauntlet. As he coursed through a party, feeling Peter with untold power. So what's I could do with this? But I know what needs to be done. The Infinity Gauntlet is too dangerous to be used by anyone. Peter set his thoughts on the Avengers, the planet Earth, Thanos, and the realms affected by his power. Time unraveled. Pieces were restored to their normal functions. A light engulfed everything, including Peter, but his thoughts could still be heard, causing reality to glow brightly. Everything was restored to normal, and the Infinity Gauntlet was never found again. Hey, Vic! You want to know what happened when Gamora tried using that thing? She almost went Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs! So, no, don't give me some of this, oh, Peter was able to do that. No, he cannot! A normal human could never wield the Infinity Gauntlet! Okay, unless you're Doom, but I think Doom is a beyond human. Everything was truly restored. The Avengers were back to performing their heroic duties. The Gauntlet was thrown to a black hole in deep space, and life went back to its bumpy road for Spider-Man. As if nothing ever happened, and after a talk with Captain America, Peter found that this was almost the case. Nobody remembered the events, not even those directly involved with Thanos or the Infinity Gems. Standing on the edge of the skyscraper was arms folded. Spider-Man lowered his head and sighed distantly. Well, what do you know? Save the universe and no one remembers it. Just what's it like for people to see I'm the good guy? Is it wrong to want some recognition? Just a little? Struggling, Peter leapt from the building and swung his free fall. Oh well. Story of my life. And going down. Yada yada yada. Yes. Everybody basically cheering on Peter and saying it, and wow. There's a part where Twilight, it does say Peter is the greatest hero. Not just in the world, but all worlds. Thank you. But, I mean, it's not like they're all talking all this about marriage and basically saying, I do love Peter. I do love Peter. That's so. Scrolling down. Eventually, the defender revealed a young woman standing instantly from Peter, not sheepishly scratching the backs of his head. As the blonde closed together, planted a kiss on the young man's cheek. Her smile was sweet, matched by her only loving emerald gaze. Peter eventually returned the woman's affection with a simple hug, his hands wrapped around her slender waist. When Peter held this woman close, the sweet nothings he whispered in the ear, eventually kisses he bestowed on a person or things Twilight had experienced. Passed, but it felt uncomfortable. Yada yada yada. And here we go! And Wicked smiled. Green Man with a perfect tune and messy his hat, shifting his cold yellow eye. No! Stop right there! No, 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 no! You had just spent the previous chapter establishing that the Green Goblin of this universe was the ultimate goblin. You cannot just go back, retcon your story, and then give me the goblin for the comics! Now, pick a continuity with Gauntlet and stick with it! Do not try to manipulate this just to fit your own continuity standards! Before dropping skis a little gas, everyone's cut to side. The madman dropped Gwen, letting her fall. Since this was too great, Spider-Man could not cross with Gwen. Desperate style strand webbing, Nancy lands on Gwen's ankle. Snap! This was the night Gwen stayed